Day 38, Chapter 25, 26 and 27. The whispers we share today may seem like long descriptions about gold, curtains, altars, and measurements. At first glance, it feels technical, detailed, even repetitive, but beneath these instructions lies a deep message about obedience, intentional living, and how God desires to dwell with His people, not in chaos, but with purpose. Let's begin where God tells Moses, "See that you make them according to the pattern shown you on the mountain." This statement is more than construction advice. It's a reminder that God's plans often come with a pattern, a divine design that we may not fully understand at first. In today's world, many of us want quick results. We want to improvise our way through life. But for this, we understand that obedience sometimes means following instructions that feel small, detailed, or even inconvenient. The pattern matters because the presence of God rests on intentional obedience. Maybe you're in a season where God is asking you to slow down, to pay attention to the details, to build your life carefully, your habits, your relationships, your integrity, according to His pattern rather than popular opinion. God didn't just give instructions, He invited participation. The Israelites were asked to bring offerings willingly: gold, silver, fabrics, oil. God could have created everything instantly, but instead He allowed His people to contribute. Why? Because worship is not just about receiving from God, it is about partnering with Him. Your time, your gifts, your acts of kindness, your consistency in prayer. These are modern-day offerings that help create space for God's presence in your life and community. Then we read something curious. Make for the tent a covering of ram skins dyed red, and over that a covering of durable leather. Layer upon layer covered the tabernacle. Beauty on the inside, protection on the outside. Isn't that how God works in our lives? Sometimes, the most sacred parts of us are not flashy on the surface. The tabernacle did not necessarily look impressive from afar, yet inside it carried God's glory. This is a powerful encouragement if you feel unseen. God's work in your heart may be hidden beneath layers of discipline, sacrifice, or quiet growth. The world might overlook you, but heaven recognizes what is being built within. Another whisper is about the light. God commanded, "Bring clear oil of pressed olives, so that the lamps may be kept burning." Notice the phrase pressed olives. Oil didn't come easily. It required pressure. Sometimes the light in our lives is produced through seasons of pressing, challenges, waiting, disappointment, growth pains. Yet God uses those very experiences to produce clarity and endurance. And the lamps had to be kept burning continually, not just occasionally, not only during special moments. This speaks to consistency in our walk with God. Faith is not only about dramatic breakthroughs, it's about daily practices, showing up in prayer, choosing kindness, practicing forgiveness, seeking wisdom even when life feels ordinary. Exodus chapter 25 to 27 also reveals something beautiful about structure. Every element in the tabernacle had a purpose: the ark, the table, the lampstand, the altar, the courtyard. Nothing was random. In our lives today, we sometimes struggle because we treat spiritual growth as accidental. But God values structure, rhythms that sustain us. Time for rest. Time for reflection. Time for service. Structure is not restriction, it is protection for what is sacred. And perhaps the most powerful whisper from these chapters is this: God wanted to dwell among His people. All the details, all the measurements, all the materials, they were ultimately about relationship. God desired closeness. He wanted His people to know that His presence was not distant, but intentional. For those seeking God today, this is deeply comforting. You do not need perfection before approaching Him. What He asks for is willingness. A heart ready to follow His pattern, bring your offering, endure the pressing that produces light, and build a life that welcomes His presence. So as you reflect, please remember, God cares about the details of your life. Hidden seasons are not wasted seasons. Consistency keeps your light burning. And obedience to His pattern prepares a place for His presence. Even when the instructions seem small, they may be building something holy. May you find encouragement in knowing that God is still inviting His people today, not to construct a physical tent, but to build lives where His presence can dwell. And just like the tabernacle, your life, built according to His pattern, can become a light that never goes out.